high-class Cap Julica. But the Bradford and Bingley, of course, is a mile. He comes back to 7 furlongs today, and that would be the slight worry, in my opinion, that although he travels well in a race, and although there'll be strong pace today with Croft Valley in the field and possibly Tajanub, I just wonder whether it's the right thing to bring him back to 7 on ground that's firmed up overnight. It's good to firm in places now.
I think he'll travel through the race well enough, Julian, because he's got a bit of speed through a race. As you say, he travels well. He looked well in the paddock. I think he's got a great chance today. That's number 8, Behaviour.
This is the well-backed second favourite, Desert Green. Always been a rather enigmatic character, but he certainly likes it here at Goodwood. He won over the course at the big meeting last year, and this year he ran a terrific race in the Schweppes Golden Mile at the big meeting. He was always short of room here. He comes from way off the pace normally. Now look towards the inside, and you see there Behaviour, who also ran in this race, and Willie Carson runs into a brick wall there. He went for a very ambitious run up the rails there, and that put him out of the race. Now look back to the right of your picture, and the white cap with the blue star. That's Desert Green, who's just starting to see a little bit of daylight now, but it's all too late. The ones up front, which include Reality and ultimately Kerapur on the outside, have flown, but Desert Green runs on really well to snatch 3rd place. That was a good run.
He handled the track well that day, considering he was in a bit of trouble. And he looked well in the paddock, this horse, Desert Green. He's a lovely, big, fine individual. I think he's going to give Richard Perham a really cracking ride today, Julian.
This is En Attendant. He's having his last run on the flat this season before he goes national hunt racing. Ben Hanbury, his trainer, of course, was a very accomplished professional national hunt jockey, so he's looking forward to that little exercise. This horse broke a long losing run at Chester recently, where he won in good style.
He's been a good horse through the years. He's won 2 Bunbury Cups in 93 and 94. He loves a strong run race, and I think we'll see John Reed holding him up today until about the last half furlong.
Ben Hanbury's horse is running very well at present, and this horse, as you can see, looks in very good form. This is Celestial Key. He ran in that Bradford and Bingley handicap up at York. He finished 7th in that race. It was his 12th run of the season, but trained by Mark Johnson, he's holding his form pretty well.
That was one of the best handicaps of the year, I think, and he ran a good race in that. He's sure to finish somewhere in the frame, I would think, today.
See, the grass is still pretty green. They've put over 2 million gallons of water on the course since the July meeting, but it's still very fast ground. Tajanub in Sheikh Hamdan's colours. Well, she's a useful filly. She made all to beat Epigris over 6 furlongs at York, and now she steps up to 7 furlongs for the first time.
And Julian, Robert Armstrong's horse is running well this season. They're really out their skin. And this filly, I thought, would look an absolute picture in the paddock. She's loving the sunshine. She's the only filly in the race, in fact. And she's not without a chance. 6-1 from 5s.
Big day for Willie Carson, and of course Sheikh Hamdan, who runs Harrier and Shahid in the big race, and a half-sister to Harrier in the last. Here's Peter O'Sullivan.
That's it, En Attendant the last year in their away, and Croft Valley the first to show as they jump off. Croft Valley going on from Desert Green, and it looks as though Celestial Key's rider, who's in rear, has lost an arm. Just struggling to get it back, Philip Robinson, at the moment, but he's about 6 to 8 lengths adrift of the leader, Croft Valley, who's being chased by Desert Green, with Moccasin Run next, and then comes Behaviour towards the outside, and then En Attendant. And Celestial Key still the back marker, and as they run downhill, it's Croft Valley. Croft Valley being chased by Tajanub. I called Tajanub Desert Green a moment ago, but it's Tajanub who's second. Then comes Moccasin Run, then on the outside Behaviour. And behind them Desert Green, En Attendant over on the far side, Shikari's Son, and Celestial Key still to get into the running here, and doesn't look as though he's going to as they run down past the 2 furlong pole. And still Croft Valley over on the far side, being pressed by Behaviour now towards the stand side. Desert Green coming there well, and then Moccasin Run as Tajanub fades, coming down inside the final furlong, and as they do so, Behaviour coming to strike the front. And Tadjanu putting in a good run over on the far side once again. Croft Valley on the far side too. Moccasin Run. Tadjanu beginning to get up, and at the line, Tadjanuva's just weathered in a photo from Moccasin Run and Croft Valley with Behaviour fourth. It's a very close photo, but Tadjanuva's probably just got up in the dying strides to beat Moccasin Run and Croft Valley on the far side with Behaviour just behind them. But it's a photo for all four places at the end of the Sport on 5 rated handicap with.
And Geoffrey Boycott is my fellow commentator.
Then it's 10-1 Tyler, 10-1 Sea Thunder from 12-1, 12-1 L-Shaped, 14-1 Agua, Wardara and Patsy Grimes, and no extras and Prima Silk, 16-1 Or Sparrow, also 16-1 Mr. Jolson and Balance of Power, 20-1 My Best Valentine, Thatcherella and Rich Glow, 25-1 Joe Maximus, Samsulum and So Intrepid, 33-1 Jazim, Petraco and Rambold. Into Tyler in the Eagle Lane handicap at York, a great run that, finishing better than anything. Meets his conqueror on £5 better terms for 3 parts of a length beating rather. Loves this fast ground, trained by William Jarvis for his aunt Vivian, who's always watching us with an eagle eye. And I would think the only thing that would concern you, Vivian, is the draw number 2, because most of the pace seems to be middle to far side.
And I think, Julian, sometimes the far side, when the ground is riding fast, is the best. Had the luck of winning 2 Stewards' Cup here, and they were nearly all highly drawn. But looking at Lord Olivia, he looked a picture in the paddock. He's got everything going for him, as you say. He loves fast ground. He's a very quick starter, and he usually runs from the front, and he's perfectly genuine.
Well, the importance of the draw is shown by the stalls stretched across the course, but although when the ground's soft they tend to race right down the stand rails, in the Stewards' Cup they surprised us. None of the low-numbered draws actually raced on the stand rails. They moved over towards the centre of the course, and most of the race was either there or on the far side. So we will see what happens. Last night the jockeys said that the best ground, the easiest ground, was in the centre of the course, but the fastest ground was on the far side. That's after the artificial watering, so if you're protecting a horse, you want to come up the centre. If you're looking for the really sharp ground, that's on the far rails. Now, the horse that beat Lord Olivier at York is this, Tyler. But, as I say, the weights don't favour him today, and he's run again since then. He ran over 7 furlongs at Chester last weekend, where he was just beaten by Wild Rice.
Takes a lot of holding together, this horse, Julian. He can wander a little bit under pressure, so Philip Robinson will be looking to keep him well balanced. But let's hope that Philip has a little bit more luck than he had in our first race on Celestial Key. Let's hope he clears the stalls without any trouble.
So many here with a chance, and there's one that's obviously got a chance, last year's winner, number 1, Hello Mister. Well, he's paid the penalty for his wonderful season last year, when he climaxed this year by winning the Portland Handicap up at Doncaster. That was off a rating of 97. He's come down the weights a bit after 8 unsuccessful runs this year. He's on 93 now. It's possible he could win off that mark. He's drawn 4.
What's interesting with him, Julian, he's usually a little bit on his toes and a little bit sweaty, but he's taken a lot of interest today, but he seems pretty settled to me. The best form has been shown on this fast ground, so he's another fast ground specialist, but he's also drawn on the stands rail. He's coming out of stall 4.
Number 5 is Mr. Jolson, horse who's yet to win in 7 outings this season, but there's just been a bit of interest in him in the market. He's drawn 20 towards the far side.
He's got young Stephen Drown in the saddle, who claims the £3, 16-1 from 14-1, and a very valuable £3 allowance that is too.
Agua just about the overall leader, though. Agua from Joe Maximus towards the far side. Agua in the center. Joe Maximus coming there on the far side now is Rich Glow also coming down to the furlong pole, and it's Agua, Hello Mister on the near side, and also My Best Valentine as they race into the closing stages. It's Rich Glow who's taken it up now. Rich Glow from No Extras on the far side. No Extras beginning to get up. No Extras running from Rich Glow and My Best Valentine. That's the 1, 2, 3. It's a photo for 4, and it's a photo between Sea Thunder and probably Sam Solon, but no doubt about the 1, 2, 3 at the end of this Ladbroke Racing Sprint Handicap. The winner is number 3, No Extras, owned by...
The crowd is with him.
And number 1 is Darnay, written by John Reed. And he incidentally carrying the second colours of Godolphin, with the first colours carried by number 2, Emperor Jones, ridden by Frankie Dettori. 3 is Dance Turn, who's visored, ridden by Michael Roberts. 4 is Realities, locally trained by Guy Harwood, who's won this race 3 times, ridden by Paul Edery. 5 is Harayir, ridden by Willie Carson, who's won it 3 times already, and 6 is Shahid, carrying the second colours of Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, the first colours carried by the 1,000 guineas winner Harayir, and Shahid, ridden for the first time ever by Richard Hills. Here's how they bet.
And Harayir, having been back this morning in the offices at 2 to 1, is a firm favourite on the course at 7 to 4, having touched 15 to 8. Then it's 3 to 1, second best, Emperor Jones from 7 to 2. Very easy to back on the course, Shahid from 5 to 2 out to 4 to 1. 7 to 1, Darnay is also on the drift, but there's been money for Realities both this morning and on the course at 8 to 1. And at 16 to 1, the outsider of the field, Dance Turn. Behind Darnay and on the outside From, but just here, as they pass the 2 furlong marker, a gap started to open for her, and look how quickly she goes and wins the race.
She is a lovely filly, Julian, and how she finds that second gear so quickly. This is the way to ride her. This is what Willie will be looking for today. She loves the ground. She eats it up, as you can see. The faster the better for her. And, well, her only defeats, in my opinion, have been the ground against her. She's got the ground in her favour today. She's a real masculine type of filly, this. And I think Willie had a little bit up his sleeve that day, although he tried to, I think, kid us a little bit that day, Julian, saying that was as far as she could have won.
Yes, he expressed a very controversial view that she doesn't really stay a mile. And also, as you say, that she was coming to the end of her tether. But I don't know. I've never known a Guineas winner that didn't stay apart, possibly from Palestine. Do you remember one?
No, I don't. And, well, she won it well that day, and she was ridden on that occasion by Richard Hills in much the same way as Willie rode her at Newbury.
This year.
I think we'll see Richard Hills in the black cap, the second colours of Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, ride in a very similar race, in fact, to Willie on the filly, because he can run a little bit free, Shahid, and I think that if he did see too much daylight today, Julian, he's not going to finish. He's 4 to 1 from 7 to 2, but the reports from Arundel are that he's never worked better.
But the best backed horse on the course has been Emperor Jones, who was also backed in the offices this morning from 9 to 2 to 7 to 2, one of the 2 Godolphin runners in the race. I said on Wednesday that one of his best runs ever was in this race 12 months ago, although I'd correct that, although he did run a terrific race in this race last year. He made the running that day. He was in the colours, of course, of Sheikh Mohammed, pressed there by Missile Cat, but in the end it was another Sheikh Hamdan filly, Nethaf, who was far too good for him, but as you can see, he's run to the line.
All the way to the line, he stayed on well, but as you say, had no guns for the filly. She had that little bit more class that day. Emperor Jones, in fact, when he's racing against genuine Group 1 horses, seems to want for a little bit of finishing speed. He looks a little bit on the slow side, but what he can do is fight all the way to the line. So if there is any chink in the filly's armour today, or come to that, any of the other 4 runners, he can find them out. But I think at this class of racing, Julian, he just lacks that little bit of finishing speed.
Yes, I'd correct myself. His 2 best runs last year definitely were when he won the Lockinge and was second to Barathea in the Queen Anne. Of course, he was trained by John Gosden last year, as was the horse upside him there, Darnay. Both of them John Gosden trained, and which reminds me that it's John's open day at Stanley House tomorrow in Newmarket, and if you've never been to the Stanley House stables at Newmarket, they are an eye-opener in aid, of course, in stable lads' welfare, racing welfare. So that's a day to enjoy tomorrow. But Emperor Jones, the mount of Frankie Dettori, very little between the two in the opinion of Jeremy Noceda, and between him and Bari, the mount of John Reid. Darnay, who won the Group 2 race, the SeaWorld International at the Curragh. We saw him finishing 3rd to Harrier in the Hungerford Stakes. Not easy to believe that he could turn the tables on Harrier on that form. 8-1 now from 7.
He looks super in the paddock. He's one of my favourites, I think. He really is a lovely-looking son of Darshan. He's 4 years old now, but what a lovely colour he is. A very rich brown colt. And he's a very, very good performer, too, because that run, when we saw him run, Julian, in the Hunt Cup under 9 stone 10, when he was second to Realities, was really solid stuff, and he's progressed into a group horse since then. But just look at him there. That's how a racehorse should look.
Harrier shortening up. Now they're really coming for her. 11-8, having opened at 7-4. 7-2, Emperor Jones eases back from 3. Bidding to win for Sheikh Hamdan for the 2nd year running. Let's join Peter O'Sullivan.
That's it, Emperor Jones, the last in, he's nearest to us. They're set. And they're away. Emperor Jones on the near side, taking it up immediately. Emperor Jones going on from Darnay. Dance Turn being chased up on the outside, and Dance Turn being chased up to join, in fact, to overtake Emperor Jones, with Darnay in 3rd. Then come Shahid and Harayir, who are matching strides with the back marker Realities. So it's Dance Turn, buys it for the first time, making the running from Emperor Jones, and making it a good pace too, as they begin the swing right-handed towards the home turn. Dance Turn passes the 6th pole, has a 3-length advantage now over Emperor Jones. Behind them come Darnay. Then to the outside of Darnay is Harayir, then Shahid tucked in on the inside, and going smoothly just in behind then is Realities, as they swing into the home stretch now. 3.5 furlongs to run in the Teleprint Celebration Mile, and Dance Turn the leader from Emperor Jones. Harayir travelling smoothly on the outside, the right of the picture that is. Dance Turn drops out quickly, and Emperor Jones the leader on the far side, but Harayir coming there strongly, Realities also, and Darnay with the white cap over on the far side. And it's Emperor Jones on the inside. On the left of the picture, the striped cap of Harayir, still trying to get on terms with them, is Realities, and looking for space is Darnay. They're coming down to the furlong pole, and as they do so, it's Harayir who's just struck the front. Realities, the challenger, on the near side. Darnay coming there, but it's at the front too. It's Harayir from Emperor Jones, and Darnay is the race into the closing stages. Harayir wins it from Darnay. Realities is 3rd, and Emperor Jones 4, 5 Shahid, and 6 Dance Turn. That's the 1-6 in the Triple Prince Celebration Mile, with the winner, number 5, the 1,000 guineas winner, Harayir, owned by Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained by Major Dick Hearn and ridden by Willie Carson. 2nd was number 1, Darnay, owned by Godolphin Racing, trained by Saeed bin Surur and ridden by John Reid. And 3rd was number 4, Realities, owned by Mr. Roy Tiano, trained by Guy Harbord and ridden by Paul Edery, with 4th, number 2, Emperor Jones. Harayir, the 5-4 favourite, a 3rd winner of the race for Dick Hearn, won it in 71 and 72 with
187 runs still behind England's 454.
10p deduction in the pound if this one doesn't go into the stalls. One last heave, currently 13-2. And they've got him in.
Okay, 1 to go. And the last one coming
Here Brian Riley say 1 to go.
Go on, the lad, not you. Go on.
This will be emerging markets. He's been a problem in the stalls before. He goes in quite calmly. That's it, lined up.
Hey, Judge!
Under orders there away, and held up early on is Tharwa. Slow to stride was French Grit on the outside in the blue. On the left Proud Destiny. The pink cap, Alarming, is with the pace, and Tharwa, and the black and green here is Domitia. Nearest to us in blue we have Proud Destiny, and just in behind these Desert Harvest, Last Roundup, and Distant Princess. There goes Twilight Patrol with the red colours, the yellow spotted colours Desert Harvest, pink sleeves, that's Last Roundup, and the stripes of Emerging Market have one behind it, and that's French Grit, who will come with a very late challenge indeed. Come down through the first quarter mile, and it's Domitia, the black and green on the outside of the pink cap, that's Alarming. They're 1 and 2. Red colours, Tharwa showing third as they nudge 40 miles an hour, and they've passed the halfway stage in this Vixen Hill Gazebo's handicap. There goes Proud Destiny, the blue colours on the left, all poised to challenge. French Grit making ground off the pace. Ridden along to try and get closer is Last Roundup. They've got just over a quarter of a mile to go, and what a race this is developing into. Domitia with Alarming the inside, French Grit with a run, Proud Destiny the outside, and Twilight Patrol, the blue cap, is going forward powerfully now. Here comes Emerging Markets with a rush through on the inside. Anyone of about 5 could win, and Twilight Patrol just has the edge to Proud Destiny. Emerging Market the far side. From the back, Desert Harvest starts to pick up, but Twilight Patrol is going to take it at the post. Twilight Patrol is the winner from Proud Destiny, second Emerging.
Inquiring into 3 separate incidents, or that's how we saw it, and these were they. The first was at the 2 furlong marker when John Reed, riding Darnay, was looking for room from behind Harrier and in between Harrier and Realities, the rider with the red cap on the outside. He's looking for room there, John, and there's a very narrow gap, and as you can see, Paul Edery, perhaps quite rightly, is determined not to let him through that gap, and, well, eventually he gets there. Now, coming to the furlong marker, you see Harrier, who is 1 off the rails, gets very close indeed to Emperor Jones, who'd led up till that point. You can see Emperor Jones has brushed the rails, and his rider, Frankie Dettori, his whip hit the rails. Now they've come away again. Look back to the one from the right, and you can see that Darnay has burst through. This was the 3rd incident in the race. Emperor Jones inside the final furlong now. Harrier, having been there, perhaps getting a little tired, perhaps losing her concentration, but they now come very close together, these two. Harrier edges over towards Emperor Jones. As we move towards the last 50 yards, you'll see the filly definitely drifts to the right, and there's contact just here as Frankie Dettori has to snatch up his mount, possibly losing 3rd place as a result. Willie, with his stick in his left hand, riding on his usual long rein. It was late in the race. Harrier first past the post, Darnay 2nd, and Realities 3rd. Emperor Jones losing it. Well, we now know that the placings have remained unaltered, and the man in the hot seat, the man who rode the winner, Willie Carson. Willie, first of all...
I'm glad you're not a steward.
It would have been close. Now, take us through that incident.
Well, I was, my incident is my filly show. I was cruising upsides. Frankie was riding very hard, and I was sitting upsides him, and my filly, as you said, concentration. It was trying to keep her concentration, because when she gets to the front, she does pull up. So I was sitting there playing with Frankie, and when I shook the reins at her, she did, when Frankie's dropping away, she has gone across. Shouldn't have let it happen, of course, but it did happen. I don't think it made any difference, and your opinion about finishing 3rd is wrong. He would have finished 4th.
Fair enough, that's why there's been no change.
That's right.
But the race was fascinating, Willie, because you've expressed a doubt about her stamina, and yet you've ridden her so you had no doubt about her stamina at all today.
Well, what I say and what I do is always 2 different things, isn't it?
As your wife always tells us.
Well, it didn't actually go for me. If you go back in the film there, you can see that there's the leader, Mace Roberts, then Frankie, and then John Reed. And I had been told, and of course everybody's worrying about me dropping her out, and had a bit of pressure on me. So I sort of had to go up round John Reed. This is long before this. And of course I put myself into 2nd position. So
you got yourself very handy very early in the race.
And I'm just sitting there waiting and letting Frankie lead me, because I don't want to hit the front until well inside the last. Well, look, I'm taking a pull again. And that's when she's gone across onto him, when I took a little pull at her. And she's losing concentration. She's the best horse in the race. And I should think I've been a little bit overconfident, really. I should have got a hold of her. And that wouldn't have happened. But she is the best horse in the race. Now, I just gave her a tap down the neck. There's that tap down the neck. And that's when Frankie's dropping out, and he's anticipating me going across the rail, which I didn't actually do, but I did take his ground, and Frankie overreacted a bit.
Well, she's won.
That's my opinion, anyway. Others would have different opinions.
And she's good, isn't she?
Oh, she's a good filly, yes.
Yeah.
And at Newbury, you see, when I said that she wouldn't stay, she didn't stay. You know, the 7 furlong suited, and she won so well there. And she's won over the mile just as easy today. She does pull up in front, that's what it is.
Willie, well done, but you made us sweat.
Well, it made me sweat too.
On today, but as Leslie's already reminded you, no blinkers. So his chance in the race has to be assessed on what he did at Leicester, and yet he doesn't have the same equipment, so to speak, on. Leslie, you're keen on 7, aren't you?
Yes, yes, and looked very well in the paddock too. Looks like moving very nicely there. Very stylish trot to it, really points his toe. That is Amrak Ajib, a 3-year-old out of the in-form Ben Hanbury stable. Ben's horse is really firing at the moment, won the big race here yesterday. And this horse won at Haydock 3 weeks ago, had Persian Elite back in 3rd, and then ran a very good second to Frankfurter at Sandown just 7 days ago. Again, one whose the handicap has put him up £8 since his win, but there looked very, very well, and certainly looks as though he's coming to himself at the right time of year.
Mark Rimmer taking him quietly because he takes a very keen hold, this horse, and so too does number 11, Star of Persia. They're similar types in many ways. Star of Persia has hardly taken a still step. Sorry, that's a contradiction in terms, still in a step. What I mean is he doesn't walk calmly in the paddock throughout. He's been jig-jogging, jig-jogging, jig-jogging. The same here now. He has a performance that could be interpreted as dubious last time, in as much as it was a slowly run race when he won here at the beginning of the month, but the horse he beat has gone on to take quite a well-contested race at Kempton. So take it at face value, and you give him a good chance. Gary Hine rides him, and Gary will be hoping the horse will be tractable early on.
Well, Pat Edery has the mount on number 6, Sue's Return, standing there very quietly, very nicely placid and looking, yes, very, very happy with proceedings at the moment. Been running over a mile, so this is a bit of a step up today, 1.25 miles, and has been second twice, but hasn't managed to get in the winner's enclosure this season. Last time out at Goodwood, bit disappointing. Sorry, the last time he was second was at Goodwood. That was behind Ron Secret. It was a bit disappointing on his last run, but certainly taking it all very well there.
She looks like she'd rather be in the
she does
in the armchair, doesn't she?
I know. She looks more like the sort of thing I can sit on. There's quite a few of the others I wouldn't go near, but she looks okay.
Now, latest betting, and Amrak Ajib punters piling in for this one. 11-4 Amrak Ajib from 4-1, so very well fancied indeed. Ringmaster at 5-1. Star of Persia is a little bit weak, out to 11-2 from 9-2. On 7-1 Persian Elite and Sue's Return. At 10-1 Warning Order and Show Faith. Cellular Passage at 14s, and the outsiders here, Heath Yard's Rock and Palatial Style, both at 20-1.
Almost expect pace to come from Persian Elite, although he was blinkered when Richard Quinn stole that race in Leicester last time in the white and black colours, and he's first to stride going on in this Dame Pack Classic Stakes. It's Persian Elite who leads by a length. Out wide, Amrak Ajib running the rail, Sue's Return. Cellular Passage is close up, Show Faith behind these. This race over 1.25 miles, you might like to start thinking about Cambridgeshire horses and looking at a race of this type for that type of race at the end of the season. 1.25 miles this time though, and they start the one and only turn with Persian Elite leading. Amrak Ajib isn't helping Mark Rimmer, is he? Pulling hard in second place. Sue's Return runs a rail third, and then Show Faith behind that. But there's the leader, Persian Elite. They're not letting him get as far clear as he did at Leicester, clear by a couple of lengths. 2 in second place, Amrak Ajib. And there's going to be a bit of a daylight before Sue's Return. On the outside, we have Star of Persia, Cellular Passage, the blue colours racing prominently, Show Faith. Then Warning Order, the outside of Ringmaster, Heath Yard's Rock and Palatial Style is the back marker. Coming down towards the halfway stage with Persian Elite at the head of affairs. Persian Elite, our leader, from in second place, Amrak Ajib. And then Star of Persia making ground on the outside of Sue's Return. Warning Order, blinker for the first time, getting a bit closer now, but still at the head of affairs, Persian Elite, Amrak Ajib, just under 40 miles now. The grey Star of Persia is striding forward to go to share second place, but covering them is Warning Order. Palatial Style in red colours getting closer. Ringmaster's not without chances. Cellular Passage is there with a shout. Heathyard's Rock pushed along and Show Faith with a lot of work to do. Up front as they come down towards the two, the grey, Star of Persia for the Saturday Club on the outside of Amrak Ajib. Persian Elite on the outside of the pack is Warning Order. 2 lengths back then to Ringmaster with the black and white hoops. Then Sue's Return. Rule out the rest. Down to the final furlong. Here goes Star of Persia, the grey on the outside.